Cliff Williams, Joel Jackson, this is not gospel. These are the late night sessions. You never know what you're going to get.
I have been moving for the past 3 weeks, so I am out of the loop on like a good many things. And you mentioned a couple things, and I was like, well, what's that?
We got to talk about this Virginia election.
Okay.
So what happened in the Virginia election is the Republican candidate won, is the governor of Virginia, Youngkin.
I heard that's a big deal.
It's a huge deal. They haven't had a Republican governor in 12 years.
That's odd news to me, because I would think that Virginia, like when you hear about Virginia, like the jokes are like, I'm gonna take
That's
you back.
West Virginia.
Okay,
That's
the West Virginia, like you're gonna get murdered.
Oh, you hear banjo music, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, that's West Virginia.
But
Virginia's like Alexandria, and like it's obviously it's like really close to the DC and all that jazz. I think DC is technically in Virginia.
I did not know they swung that far left.
So, yeah, well, it's the big metropolitan areas where basically all the votes were Democrats.
The rednecks came down from the mountain.
So it would seem. And interestingly enough, the lieutenant governor is the first African-American woman to be elected to state office.
How did the Democrats spin this one? I'm very interested.
It's the first African-American woman to be elected to office in Virginia, state office in history. The Dems call it white supremacy, and I'm not joking. I saw people say, the comment that made me laugh the hardest was the one that I saw, and I can't remember her name. And there's no point to have a smear campaign. She basically said, this is unacceptable, finding out about Youngkin being elected as governor. She said, this is unacceptable. And this was her exact words in this tweet or whatever it was. If the blacks are going to keep voting for the racists, then maybe we need to take away their right to vote, essentially.
There's the buzzwords again.
Yeah, and she said if they're going to keep voting for the racists, maybe we need to take away their ability to vote. Stop them from voting.
Zero proof. And so all of the...
For their own good. And every person that I've seen, every person of color who's responded to this that I have seen has said, once again, our champions, the liberal white people
liberals
who are going to take care of us, rush to our aid because we don't know what's good for us, blah, blah, blah. It's so... Imagine being so racist and so ignorant that you don't you don't understand. You try to think that you can take away African Americans' right to vote in the name of anti-racism.
It's a white person telling a black person to shut up, and that's what we're talking about right now. You don't know what's good. This was a white person
saying, if you're black, you should never have voted for this person. It's no different than when Joe Biden said, if you don't know whether you're voting for me or Donald Trump, you ain't black.
If you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, then you ain't black.
Which, again, imagine if Donald Trump had said that. But, interestingly enough, we are going to talk about some Joe Biden responses. So, the world is shook by these, and as of right now, I'm not necessarily certain on New Jersey. The New Jersey count is still out, to my knowledge. The New Jersey election is a nail biter in terms of who's going to come out of it. The governor of New Jersey. Talking about more elections, Seattle just elected the state attorney. It's the first state attorney to be a Republican in Seattle since 1989. So 32 years, something like that. First state attorney to be a Republican in Seattle. And this is Seattle. This is where the autonomous zone was way back in the day. Chad, and
that
or whatever it was.
Glorious experiment.
That experiment, that deep dive into the social constructs.
Abolish the police, and then a gang rises up that starts beating up people in the streets.
See what happens.
And they're the new police.
That worked out really well, actually, for them. Everybody there. It did not. I can't even joke about that. I just got a text message, so
I think it's awesome.
There you go. We are snacking tonight, by the way. It's late at night. Joel had a long day of recording. I had a long day of trying to get some stuff together for the church to get some. I'm doing worship at the church now, which has been awesome. It's a very small backwoods kind of church, but that's my upbringing. So
I like almost the smaller pressure of that, because I am at a smaller church that operates like a mega church, and dude, Sunday morning is like, it's a little stressful. It's great. I love this place, but it's, we got the countdown and the, hey, can you do the ministry moment? And, we got
everything's cataloged and like
5 members on
structured.
stage. Yeah. I love it,
Wow.
but man, I do miss I had the small church job,
Well,
the country church job, and I miss that.
this is my first gig ever leading worship at a church or anything like that.
Ever?
Yeah, because I'm
Yeah, that's right.
the side guy, bass player, background vocalist, always have been. So this is my first ever being the only person. And when I say the only person, I'm literally, it's just me and an acoustic guitar. So I'm learning and doing everything from scratch, and I'm doing new songs that they've never heard before.
I didn't think about that because you've been doing the band for as long as you would be in the worship leader circuit.
Yeah.
Like I did the worship leader circuit 18 to like early 30.
Yeah, so it's different.
Yeah. Okay.
It's cool, and I enjoy it, and I'm having fun so far.
Yeah.
And the people seem to enjoy it. I incorporate some of the old hymns and some of the new stuff, and we put the screen up with the words, and we just cross our fingers, hope it works. And we tell this joke all the time. I got to get somebody to work the screen. If you were in the eastern southern Kentucky area, hit me up on Instagram, Facebook,
We'll buy you lunch.
YouTube, or whatever. I've got to stop getting text messages, and I have to silence this phone. But hit me up if you can push buttons, because I need, and if you're a good old sinner. And here's why I say a good old sinner, because when we get to doing the worship, so far, the people that I've had back there working the slides, they just get a little too excited, a little too emotional, and they're raising their hands, praising the Lord. And next thing I know, the slides are a full song behind. So I just need a good old sinner who's not necessarily emotional, not too moved into the spiritual realm, let's say. And I'm totally joking, totally kidding, y'all. Let me silence this phone.
Silence the phone, and I will take over. Hello, my name is Joel Jackson from Not Gospel, and I just want to say, The Other Guys is a fantastic film.
The Other Guys is so funny. So funny. So, yeah, we got to talk about Joe Biden's responses. So the reason why the Democrats are shook by these elections, right? And a lot of Republicans are still saying, hey, audit the elections. They're saying, hey, audit Virginia. Even though we won Virginia, we want to know that it's fair. We don't want to recount. We want a legit bipartisan audit. And we want an audit on all these elections. And they're saying we need to start making that
A part of
the
process.
regular thing. Like we need to get used to that, just auditing these elections. Because if there's anything that 2021 has shown us, is that who is elected, the leadership of your country, very much affects your life. I'm not going to speak for everybody else. I'm not going to. My life is. I'm blessed beyond measure.
Yeah.
God is so good to me and my family. He has provided over and over and over, hand over foot, or hand over fist, however the saying goes.
Yeah.
But 2021 has been worse to me in America than 2020 was, the height of the pandemic. And I'm not trying to make light of anybody, the lives that were lost in 2020. Newsflash, we lost a lot of lives in 2021 as well.
Yeah.
So I'm not trying to make light of anybody who passed away or lost a loved one in 2020, but I'm saying for me personally, this year has been more frustrating, more difficult. I've been more disappointed in this year with this new administration than even in 2020.
Saying the new administration doesn't affect the gas prices, it's like the owner of the car and the car breaks down
Yeah.
and the car doesn't ever get fixed. It's like saying, well, dude, it's not the guy's fault. He just doesn't have, you
And
know.
he says, I don't know. I don't know what to do about the gas prices. How about restart the Keystone Pipeline?
That's what I'm saying. Like, you can do it, and people don't understand. Well, he's not responsible for that. No, he's responsible for it.
Friend. Yes, he is.
That's why gas. That's why I'm spending $50 to $60 a week.
I
in
agree
gas.
that he is not necessarily responsible, but whomever is influencing the bills and
Yep.
that he's signing, whoever is influencing the 32-something executive orders that he did within the first 2 weeks of being in office, those people. Those are the ones who are responsible, and he is the face for those people. He's the one that they're using. Joe Biden is the leader of America, and so the bucks.
You almost said the free world.
I almost said the free world. And as he has said, the buck stops with me. The buck stops with him. 5 days ago, Kamala Harris said,
What happens in Virginia will in large part determine
what happens in
2022
way the country-
and 2024.
Ben Shapiro said this about 6 months ago. He said there is going to be a reckoning and massive backlash to this
pushback.
wokeness.
You cannot call concerned parents domestic terrorists which is what all of these in Virginia and other states, these school board meetings, these school board members were trying to request military and police officers and police presence at these meetings, saying that they were under domestic terrorist threat from concerned parents who just didn't want things like critical race theory and transgender ideologies taught to their kids. Dude, there were kids, and I'm not sure where it was, and you can look it up. You can check out the story. There were kids, I think they were kindergartners or first grade, second grade. They were grade school kids that for a field trip were taken to a gay bar. If you like this clip from Not Gospel, then check us out on Facebook, Instagram. We're doing all things social media now. It's a slow process, a slow growth. But like, subscribe, do all the things. Check us out on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, and you can visit on Patreon. All the exclusive content for the entire filmed episodes is on Patreon. Support Man of God, the first book that I wrote, the first novel. Support Man of God. Watch the trailer filmed by myself and Joel, and just tell us your thoughts on it. Tell us any new things you want us to talk about. And as always, keep being awesome, because that's how He made you. Oh my gosh. Cliff and Joel, we are back. This is Not Gospel. All right, so first off, Dems are scrambling. They're going nuts right now.
Is someone mowing their lawn?
No, that's like a helicopter.
We got to keep this coming. No, we got to, like, that's part of it. That's a part of it.
All right, it's part of it. All right, so, and I'm eating snacks. I can't help it.
I think it's beautiful.
First Republican governor.
I was like, who mows their lawn at freaking 9 at night? What a jerk.
All right, so I'm going to save this whole intro for an outtake. I'm going to try this again.